Good afternoon, everyone. We are back on the old exercise bike. I've got my protein / creatine monohydrate I forgot the fucking name. Shake. Yeah. Creatine, protein, creatine shake. I've also prepared some notes. It's a bit late for the old cardio, but I need to get it in. I did say to myself at the start of the year that I'm going to be doing 20 minutes of cardio every day for the rest of the year. I'm really hoping I can keep it up. So far, so good. Just got to do it, regardless of what time it is. I've still got to go to the gym, do my deadlifts, back, and a few other things, which I shall go over with my fantastic shopping list notepad. So let's get right to it. Starting off with deadlifts, as I said, working up to a cluster set, 1 rep, wait 10 seconds, or 20 seconds, another rep. For 2 reps at RPE 6, followed by 1 set of 3 reps. The only difference with this one is 2 reps, wait 10 to 20 seconds, do another rep. And then drop down is 2 sets of 5 reps. Now the second cluster set, as well as the back down sets, the 2 sets of 5, they will be generated through the program that I am using. After the deadlifts, now, because I've decided to reset the program that I'm currently doing, because I went off track quite a bit, so I thought I'd renew it at the start of the year, come in fresh, start at lower weight, so almost a deload, just not quite a deload. So I've got to customize the exercises I'll be doing after the deadlifts, as well as customize the exercises I'm going to be doing after all of the compound movements. But to narrow it down to what we'll be doing today, 1 pull down, 1 row, that'll be sitting at 8 to 10 reps, 4 sets. Bearing in mind everything I do summarise, we'll be working at RPE 7 to 8. 2 rear delt exercises. I think I'm going to pick some sort of rear delt raise and upright row. Those 2 exercises, the rear delt raises, I might do the pec deck variation. What would you call them? Squeezing motion. It's a squeezing motion. Rear delt squeezes, new exercise created by myself. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do the pec deck variation of the rear delt raise, or as I've just come up, rear delt squeeze. The upright rows, whether I do that with an EZ bar or decide last moment to do it with a straight bar, that will be done for 8 to 10. After the isolated rear delt exercise and the upright rows, which will be more for not just rear delts, but you know, all the rhomboids, traps, all that sort of development, which will aid the deadlift or carry over to the deadlift. After that, we'll do a bicep movement. Now I did hammer curls, seated hammer curls, chest day. So I think I'll do either EZ barbell curls or straight barbell curls. I'm also going to go over a couple of questions that I've got. I did a Q&A on Instagram yesterday night, so I'm going to pull a few of those. Even though I've already answered them on Instagram, I'm going to pull a few of them and answer them in this video. So starting off, why did I wear long socks in my last deadlift video? Now, long socks, you'll see a lot of powerlifters use long socks to prevent scraping of the shins. I don't usually do that because although the barbell does somewhat scrape my shins, it never seems to cause any grazing for me. So maybe I've just got thick skin there from deadlifting for years and years, or maybe I'm not pulling the bar into myself enough. Regardless, I thought I'd try them out and it was surprising. I did feel like they prevented the scraping of the bar across my bare skin, and they did reduce a little bit of the irritation I get afterwards. So I may carry on using long socks during the deadlift. I might even wear them today during the deadlift. But yeah, long socks are used to prevent scraping of the barbell and grazing of the skin. Am I still doing captain of crush training or grip strength training? Last year, I only did about 3 months of it. This year, I want to actually implement it back into my training, whether that be, no, it'd have to be after any sort of pulling exercises. So I think today, coincidentally, was the day that I actually implement it back into my regime. So at the end of this video, at the end of me being in the gym, I might include the captain of crush training that I'll be doing to improve my grip strength. The reason I want to improve my grip strength is because I've started implementing double overhand hook grip again. And I would like the double overhand hook grip, my current personal best deadlift, which is 290 kilos. Also, I'd like to gain that level of strength to the point of where I can double overhand hook grip my current PB, because I would like to compete. Now, you can't use straps in a powerlifting competition, so it was either do the over underhand, which I don't like because even though it's very minute, it does cause a little bit of imbalance. Not dramatically, although some people will say the opposite, because for some people it has caused dramatic instability on one side of their body to the other. But I don't want any form of instability. So I've opted to improve the strength of my grip so I can use the double overhand hook grip. Next question, lower back tightness during IDLs or after RDLs. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physio, I'm not a chiropractor. So take what I say with a pinch of salt. I will share my thoughts, that'll do. I will share my thoughts with you on why you might, not certainly, but might be having lower back tightness after RDLs. I've come up with 2 things. Obviously, I've not seen your form. Excuse me. I do apologise. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, lower back tightness after RDLs. I haven't seen your form, so it's hard for me to determine what you could be doing wrong. But obviously, the first one is very obvious, lower back tightness, in which I would advise personally a sports massage. I wouldn't say chiropractic or chiropractic or whatever the term is, unless it's a skeletal issue. And even then, I personally don't like the idea of chiropractic, whatever you call it. That's nothing against chiropractors. At least I got that term right. Just not for me. I don't like the idea of it. You know, you're laying there, you've got a sore neck, Oh yeah, just straighten my neck out. Oh fuck, I can't move. You thought you said that to the chiropractor, when in reality he's just paralysed you all over your body and you're speaking to yourself. Now for the rest of your life, you're staring off into the stars. Or in my case, my empty light, because I do need to replace the light bulb. So not for me. You guys may have had a fantastic result from chiropractic. I haven't. I haven't experienced it and I don't want to experience it. So yeah, sports massage, some sort of physiotherapy. Mobility drills. There's plenty of mobility drills for your lower back that you can do in order to loosen the muscle up and allow you to do the RDLs without the level of tightness that you're experiencing, as well as stretching after RDLs. I don't think you should static stretch before you do RDLs, as studies have shown that it does decrease explosive power. There's been many studies on it. I won't get into it. It's a long-winded subject on why static stretches shouldn't be done before an exercise. But obviously when I'm doing my compound lifts, my squat, my bench, my deadlift, that would be the last thing I want, because that is one of the things that I rely on, the fast twitch fibers. I really rely on those to squat the weight up, pull the weight up, or press the weight above. So yeah, mobility work, that could also help you. Next question. How old am I and how long have I been training? I'm 29 years of age. I've been training consistently. I emphasise that word, consistently, for 6 years. The first time I picked up a barbell, my throat is quite dry, so every now and then I will sound like I've swallowed some helium, or my balls have decided to pull back in on themselves. Reverse puberty. Regardless, I wonder what my heart rate is right now. Yeah, so the first time I picked up a barbell was, that can't be right. Actually, that might be right. Let's go to the pulse. Yeah, there's just not enough resistance on this exercise bike to get my heart pumping, because this is a very steady pace for me. And I am working up a sweat. Okay, never mind, it's slowly starting to raise. I think because this is a 20-year-old exercise bike, I've got to give it a bit of time to figure out those sort of things. So yeah, my heart rate is sitting at 125, which is absolutely perfecto for the aim of what I want out of cardio. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so the first time I picked up a barbell was when I was 13 years of age. I did squat, bench and deadlift inconsistently up until the age of 18. Then my interest kind of changed and I focused mainly on free running, or more parkour, less of the flips, more of the jumps. So I was doing exercises more related to increasing my explosive power for jumping as far and as high as I possibly could. But even that was very inconsistent. So from the age of 13 up until 23, I was very inconsistent. 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, that works out. 23, very inconsistent. Taking more than 3 months off sometimes. So I don't tend to count those as years towards the progress I have made over the last 6 years. However, obviously they have made a positive impact on my current state of strength and health and fitness. I did go through a phase of where I didn't go to the gym for a year, and that was between the age of 21 and 22. What an absolute waste man I was back there. Anyway, no point in looking back. It's all about the current moment and what you can do to change. The current moment is so damn important. It's very overlooked. Everyone likes to think about the past and reminisce, when in reality, you should be focusing on what's in front of you, regardless of what you have lost in the past and what you really wish you could have done differently. That is absolutely pointless thinking about. It won't get you anywhere in the future. Hence the focus on the current moment, the present moment. Right, grab my notepad again. Okay, reasonable question. Why is my stance so close to the point of where my heels touch together and I have a slight angle of which I point my feet at to separate them? I guess it is personal preference. There is a level of personal preference to it, and it may sound silly, but I love the way it looks. But the main reason I do it is that I love the way it feels. It feels brilliant. I can get really tight. I have more strength off the floor, more drive. I can pull more slack out of the bar. The technique that I've taught myself, that I have refined over the years, just really works for me. And that's about the, aside the aesthetics of deadlifting that way. Aside that, just optimizing. I probably could deadlift at hip width, but I don't like the way it feels. I feel like I lose tightness, I lose strength off the floor, I lose the ability to pull the slack out of the bar. Obviously not completely, just enough for me to be like, that makes a significant difference. So yeah, I do it because I like the way it looks and it suits me. It works out best for me. When I decided to start deadlifting with my feet close together, my deadlift actually jumped by 10 kilos or 20 kilos, I can't remember now. I think I was back then deadlifting 240 kilos for a single, and then I changed up my stance, and a few weeks later I managed 260 kilos, which, as you guys know, about 10 years ago I was on gear. That was the first time I'd pulled 6 plates either side, which is 260 kilos. After I stopped, obviously I declined, lost a bit of motivation. That's probably why I had that gap from the age of 21 to 22. The psychological issues that gear has on you once you've decided to leave it behind are very concerning, because obviously I see a lot of young lads hop on gear at the age of 16, some of them, which is absolutely ridiculous. You are jeopardizing the health, your future health, your body's ability to naturally grow, as well as your brain. Taking gear at such a young age screws with your hormones. So it's just not worth it. And as much as I loved getting to the size that I got, as lean as I was, as much as that was cool to look at, every day I'd look in the mirror and I'd think I'd seen the most minute differences, which would either get me down or bring me up, depending on whether I thought I'd lost size or gained size. So when I stopped it and I lost a large proportion of the size that I'd gained when I was on gear. It absolutely destroyed me mentally. And that is just one of the issues that I encountered after coming off of gear. Now, oh bloody hell, my arse. It's killing me, it's gone numb. Maybe I should just lean forward a bit more. This isn't the most comfiest exercise bike in the world. Anyway, like I was saying, that was just one of the, well, that was just one of the many, many issues that I'd encountered after taking PEDs. The reduction in size, the reduction in strength. Psychologically, I was broken. Physically, and I don't really know how to say this in a PG manner, but my mojo, completely gone. I was emotional. I become a bit of a woman, to be fair. I mean, obviously, it is said that there is nothing wrong with a man becoming at one with his feminine side, but there is a extent, there is definitely an extent to where, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. There's an extent. There is an extent. So yeah, there was tons of issues, which is why I don't think I'll ever go back. And if I do, I'd make sure I do it properly. What else? What we got? Program or... So what's my program and do I have a coach? Yes and no. I picked up my first program after 5.5 years, 6 months ago, which was the SSTT 10-week power building program, volume 1. I cycled that twice. I had great results. It broke plateaus in my squat, bench and deadlift, as well as I'd noticed that I stuck to 93 kilos, but I looked leaner and more in shape. So after that, I decided to move on to volume 2, which has a bit more customization for the exercises that you can pick and choose. The best part about the power building program is that you can actually tailor the volume to yourself. So for me, I decided to do level of volume at 1 for my deadlift and squat, and level of volume at 2 for my bench, because I like to have a bit more recovery for my squat and my deadlift, a little less for my bench, because I can recover faster after a bench session than a deadlift and squat session. And now I'm on volume 3. As for a coach, never had a coach in my life. Obviously I've watched YouTube videos and listened to people more experienced than me to get helpful tips and advice that has led me to the point I am now, where I feel pretty damn independent. I started off, before my program, at the start of the 6 years of consistent exercise, doing 5x5. I did that for probably 6 months, and then I started to level out. Switched over to 5-3-1. I did that for a couple of years, and believe it or not, I was consistently breaking PBs at the end of each cycle of the 5-3-1. And then I started to research power building, and wanted to do the 8-6-3, which focused a bit more on hypertrophy rather than just purely power and strength. And that's where I fell in love with power building. After the excuse me, again, do apologise. After the 8-6-3, I went back to 5-3-1, but I started to implement more assistance exercises, higher reps, more sets, increased the volume, started getting results. Did that for a few years, then come across SSTT's power building program. I've had fantastic results. I'm not sponsored by Strength Studio, so I am simply just giving it a good word and explaining the results that I've had from said program. I do advise it to people that would like to get in to a bit more in-depth training. So yeah, go check it out, see what you think of it. Might be for you, might not. But for me, I loved it, and I still love it. And I'm really enjoying the volume 3. Oh, yeah, there was a question asking me if my right forearm vein will pop. No, my right forearm vein will not pop. I hope anyway, I hope it doesn't pop. It would be quite sad if it does. I'm sure that would be quite bad if it did. Let's look at my pulse. Yeah, 125, brilliant. Time, 20 minutes. Is it 20 minutes? Hold on. Fuck me, 29 minutes. Okay, right, that's the end of cardio. I'm gonna get some calories in me and head to the gym. See you there. Okay, so starting off with a little warm up before deadlifts. Goblet squats with a plate in front of me. That gets the old glutes firing. Moving on to some kettlebell swings. Another good exercise to get the glutes firing. Last warm-up exercise. Some shrugs. That'll get the traps, rhomboids, and all the little muscles of the shoulders and back firing. Oh, okay, so worked up to 250 kilos. Going to do that for my first cluster set of 1 and 1, which again means 1 rep, wait 10 to 20 seconds, do another rep. Okay, now we wait 10 seconds. I'm not going to lie, that first rep was absolutely horrendous. So let's try to make this second rep count. That was a lot better. Dropping down to 240 kilos to perform my second cluster set. 2 and then 1, or 2 reps. Wait 10 to 20 seconds, do another rep. If you're wondering why there's clips on the inside of the barbell, it's to, I guess, mimic a deadlift barbell, which is genuinely longer than your typical power bar or general barbell. That should have been enough time. I don't know how long that was, but I don't want to take too long. Otherwise it defeats the purpose of doing a cluster set. Okay, losing grip on the fourth. Last set of deadlifts. After this, it's neutral grip pull downs. We'll slap the straps back on and progressively through the months work on the double overhand hook grip. But until then, I think I'm not going to throw myself in the deep end and end up completely tearing the calluses off of my thumbs, because then I wouldn't be able to progress at all. I'll probably get some Okay, so unfortunately my first set I forgot to record, so now I'm going to have to repeat myself, which feels rather cringy. What did I say? I think I said something in the lines of the pump cover has been removed. The pump, that isn't quite there yet, has been revealed. We're going to do 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps at RPE 7 to 8, which means there's 3 to 2 tanks, all right, 3 to 2 helicopters left in the tank. I'm a bit confused now, it doesn't matter. Regardless, I've chose the neutral grip bar. I'm going to do 2 sets, well I've already done 1, but another set with the shorter neutral grip bar, and then 2 more sets with the wider grip, neutral grip bar. That way I get a lovely little mix between squeezing the inner muscles of my back and then squeezing the outer muscles of my back, working on thickness on both ends, should we say. Okay, well, I forgot to mention I'm using 66 kilos. Yes, perfect. Moving on to the wider neutral grip pull down cable pulley thingamabob. Usually I do cable rows, but strangely enough I've been here since this place has opened and I wasn't aware that they had a machine row. So whether this is new or not, I haven't a fucking clue. Regardless, I'm gonna give it a go today. And if I don't like it, I'll move back to cable rows. If I do like it, then I'll do 2 sets of the neutral close width grip, whatever, and then 2 sets with the wide. Okay, Once that is not enough to judge the machine, so I'll do another one with it. I've only just realised you can adjust the chest support, so I'd like a little bit more of a stretch out of the descent of the rep. I'm going to get it to where I'm barely able to grip it. I think one more will do. That is good. There we go, lovely. Nice little stretch out of that. Oh, pardon me. 10. Definitely works the scapula. Use the same weight. I'll do a overhand grip. Oh wow, I really have to stretch for this. I'm gonna have to raise the seat. Before we do the last 5 reps, I'm gonna raise the seat a bit. Now we can target a bit lower on the back. That's better. What's my take on this machine? Not for me. I think I'll definitely revert back to cable rows next week. This machine is great for developing the scapula and all of the inside back muscles, but I feel like it's not great for developing the outer back muscles. It definitely targets the inside muscles a lot more than I want it to. So what I'll do next week is do my usual sets of close grip cable rows and then move on to doing 2 sets of wider grip cable rows. I might even do single arm, who knows. I'm just trying to play with my options here before we fully engage into the 10 weeks of my program. Right, let's get this, so this is perfect. Too high, too low, sorry. Okay. Okay, that's a good squeeze. What's going on with this though? Ah, I see. Some prat has decided to mismatch. Yeah, okay, fair enough, right. Cool. Ah, that's a good squeeze. How this compares to dumbbell lateral rear delt raises shall be determined, but right now, oh yeah, this is a good squeeze. I'm going to do 15 reps, or 12 to 15. Okay, that's actually fantastic. That's a fantastic exercise, and I kind of wish that I'd have made the change from dumbbell rear delt flies to pec deck rear delt flies a while ago. I feel like it's squeezing in the right places. I'm getting a nice burn in my rear delts and ever so slightly in my traps. I'm going to continue doing rear delt pec flies. Pec flies. It just works, it really works. I think if you've never done it before, give it a go and tell me how it feels. I'm sure you'll also relate to how it felt for me. I'm going to do 3 to 4 sets. Oh no, sorry, 2 more sets of 12 to 15 reps. I'm going to up the weight slightly and move on to some upright rows. Okay, moving on to some upright rows. 3 sets of 10 to 12. I usually do upright rows with a barbell, a straight barbell or an EZ barbell, but I thought I'd isolate them a bit more and use the cable pulley system. Has it isolated them more? It definitely has. So I'll do the remainder of my 2 sets doing the cable pulley upright rows. Apart from that, that's the session end.